Hey everyone, okay, I was kind of just driving around today, wanting to get a feel for a few things. Had an opportunity to drop in on Aussie with the Ask Aussie team. That was real cool. But I want to take a look at some of these properties here in Galveston County and kind of get a feel for the baseline. So I wanted to discuss some of the things that I consider when buying a home. Some of these things can also apply to selling a home as well, because a lot of times sellers should look at the home that they're selling or the property they're selling from a buyer's perspective. It's a little hard to do that, especially when we've made memories and things like that in our homes and all with these properties and all. And so, it's kind of hard to separate, and it can be an emotional process for many too. So I totally get that. But for sellers, the more that a seller can, look at their property and the sale of their property from a buyer's perspective, the better off it will be in the long run. Really, the market pricing is a huge issue with all of that. It is for both sides. But there's a lot of variables that go into what makes the market price. And really, it just boils down to what is the price a buyer is willing to pay for the property. That's all it is. So if you see a sales price on a listing on a Houston MLS, and sometimes Zillow, Trulia, all that, just know that those prices are not set in stone. There's negotiations, and you can even negotiate the terms of the contract. Are there going to be any seller concessions? What kind of incentives are builders offering buyers and things like that? So this is by no means an exhaustive list or a, one-stop, kind of, this is like all you need to consider when purchasing a home. So these are just a few things that I like to consider whenever I'm looking to purchase something, and what I like to clients when they're looking. All right, so one of the big things is I like to look for the baseline. So that's kind of what I was doing last night and today. I was looking, so what is the new homes at? And I know the variables between the pricing average in the area for resale and the pricing average in the area for new homes. But I really want to know what that baseline was. Like, what's the lowest price these new properties, new construction properties are going for? And so that's why I did some research on the Houston MLS last night. And so I kind of got a feel for that. But also, I wanted to understand too, why are these properties at that price point? So what's going on with them? Their listings look all right, no big deal there. Just on the surface, just if you're just scrolling, it's like, okay, all right, well, these look like pretty good deals. And they may be. I have not looked at any of their disclosures. I've not looked at any of their paperwork. I don't know. I'm just generally looking to kind of get an overall idea of what these lower, like that baseline price point is for the new construction that's available on the Houston MLS today. There are properties that are not listed on the MLS for resale as well as for new homes, okay? So I'm not taking any of that into consideration at this time. So I wanted to go see. One thing I have known, and many of us will know when buying anything, that you can look at something online and you may get your, kind of some ideas about it, some kind of feel for it, but it's not the same as whenever you go and look at the physical thing, right? So, and we get that with like mail orders. Sometimes we have to return things, like even on Amazon. It's like, well, I love this dress, but it came in, it's like, what's going on with this, right? So the same thing applies to properties. You want to go see them. So I'm huge on all that. So whenever you work with me, though I may be getting the process started online, we need to meet, and we really need to go see those properties once you receive your pre-approval letter from the lender you chose. So with all of that, I also wanted to go see what was going on with these properties. I want to see them in person. Even just a drive-by can tell you enough, okay? But there is always more to the story when you actually go and walk into a property or walk a property itself, before you even get to the documents and all of that will tell you, everything about the property, okay? So I went by and I'm like, okay, so one of them I noticed is at the very back of the first one I went to, which was in Lago Mar, is in the very back of the community. Now, it's not going to stay in the very back. There's a lot of construction that's happening around that property, but it's also in the middle of a lot of construction too, which is to be expected for new homes. Growing developments, okay? So that's kind of something you need to think about is, once that property is finished, are you going to be able to, live with the construction until it's completed for that section? Or is that something that you're not, ready to deal with right now, right? Also schools, we know that one was going to be, is projected to be built just down the road from that property, but what's going to happen with the children whenever they're right now not going to that school because it doesn't exist, so they're going to another school, and by the time this new school opens, are they going to have to transfer whenever this new school opens? So, and I know that happened with me across my kindergarten and first grade. My kindergarten elementary school was totally different than my first, through fifth grade school, because that school we were zoned to wasn't open yet and it was under construction. So once I got to first grade, then I left my kindergarten elementary school and went over to the new school once it was built. So there's those kind of things to consider and all too. How is that going to affect the children and their friends and things like that? All right. So another thing, like with the other property, so I couldn't really tell if it was in a new home community. I didn't know if it was a new development. I know the area familiar enough to where, maybe, but maybe not. I don't know. So, and then what's going on in that section? Did a developer come in or investor come in and buy up some lots and then rebuild them? Okay, just glancing through like you would when kind of just scrolling through, seeing what's available nearby. It didn't really tell me a lot of information, so I thought, well, let me do a drive-by. And so I did, and I learned that no, it's not a new community. No, it's not like an investor or developer came and bought up like a block and rebuilt. What it was that the property, there may have been an older home on that property, and for whatever reason, either a private owner or an investor came in, took out the old structure, and then rebuilt a new structure on that lot within that established area and that established neighborhood. So whenever you go visit these properties, go do it on a weekend. Look at what the neighborhood's like. You can do it during nighttime. I would say take a buddy, do it there, but you can see what kind of activities going on in the evening, what kind of activities happening during the day, on the weekend, what's happening with the activity during the week. Are these people retirees? Are they gone because they're working? I mean, you can kind of get a feel for the neighborhood just by going to do a little cruise, through the area and do a drive-by on the property, and kind of get a feel for the development yourself or the community yourself. So that was another recommendation I have. And then like the third one was a rabbit hunt for me. The address was correct. It wasn't that anything was wrong with the listing. Even the neighborhood, I had put in the neighborhood in the Google Apps app, and I got taken to downtown Lamarck, which was like about 5 miles away and on the east side of the freeway from the property that I wanted to go look at, which was on the west side of the freeway. So there's a big difference there. And one was an established neighborhood. The other was a brand new up and coming neighborhood. So these sort of things, are good to work out before you, start going, really settling in, going, I really want that one and all that before, making decisions. So I use all these things as a way to kind of, add or subtract from my list. It's like, okay, these are the ones that I like. And it's like, okay, so, and then I start looking at the details on it, and I start honing in on my list. And then sometimes, just doing a drive-by can either keep an item on the list, or it can totally eliminate it from the list, right? So the next thing you know, you start narrowing down, and really refining what your wants and what your needs are. And sometimes you have to make concessions. And that would be, it's like, I really like that one that was at the back of the neighborhood, but I really don't like the construction. But because these are in my price point, right? Out of the ones that are available today, I think I might be able to live with the brand new construction, or I really like the established neighborhood, a little bit better, but I get a brand new structure, a brand new home, so you kind of start thinking about things like that, and then you start working out the details. So that's one way to really hone in and work out a really good list for you whenever you're going out to tour properties and things like that. So the more that you can dive in and do your own research, and even call and ask me for help, I'll be glad to help you. I have this little knack for really getting into the details, and then we can start comparing them. That sometimes what you think may be apples to apples comparison, maybe even like apples to bananas, forget the orange. It just really depends, and it's so subjective to y'all that are buying that, it's really a you thing. We can help guide you. We can provide you the information. We can dig into some research, because there's some other avenues that I can look at to really help narrow that down and find you the property that's best for you. Okay? So these were just a couple of things that I just wanted to go over and kind of, talk to you guys about. And then if you're looking for a home, I'm not saying, you have to stay under 280. I just want to see what the baseline was for the new homes. But if y'all are in the market for it and you want to get started and you don't know where to start, there's also a few lenders that I'm in touch with that can help you get to the point to where, do you qualify now? And even if you don't, they can help you get to where you'll qualify within the next 6 to 12 months maybe. Okay, so we can start the planning process now if you're not ready but you're interested in it, and kind of see where you're at, see where you want to go. And if so happens that they can get you in, get you pre-approved for a property, and also there's first-time home buyer programs, down payment assistance programs. Of course, there's USDA, FHA loans. Some of them, if you want, they may need some work or whatever. You can even look into the the FHA. I think it's like 203 NEK. It's a renovation loans, that sort of thing. And then of course there's a VA as well. So yeah, there's a lot of programs out there still available. Interest rates are a little higher than they were, especially a couple of years ago whenever the Feds dropped the interest rates to near record lows or record lows. But really, a lot of lenders know how to work with all that and work with you in your situation too. So I wouldn't let any of that hold you back. There are still a lot of affordable properties out there. I just want to take a look at what was going on with the baseline of the new homes that were listed on the Houston MLS. There are other things that are off of the MLS, and we can even talk to new home builders if that's something that you'd like to do, or just look and see what you may be able to get with a resale. There's some great resales out there too. So anyway, if you have any questions, want to have some more tips or whatever, reach out to me. You can give me a call at 832-278-2501, or send me a text or email me at kmpage@acrelotrealestate.com. You want to know what all kind of services that I'll provide and where I'm at and everything with that, then of course go to the website. As always, you'll find everything there, and that's www.acrelotrealestate.com. And let me know what I can do for you. And like I said, sellers, looking at it from a buyer's perspective is a great way to help you kind of understand, you know how you were when you were a buyer. So, and buyer behavior is much the same way. But I've got a great process for you. We can help make that the sales process a lot easier. and get you ready for a contract the day we're ready. We put that home on market, okay? So I've got a lot of that information as well up online. If you need title, lenders, inspection companies, contractors, landscapers, pest control, I have all of those vendors up online. I've got a list that I've pulled from licensing agencies to even online, as well as some of those that I personally have met and worked with before in the past. But they're a great list on my website. It's under, Find a Professional or Find Services. And it's a great way for you guys to kind of start your search for that. So even if you're not looking at buying or selling right now, but you want to do some spring cleaning and all, or there's some maintenance that you want to do, go to those lists. I've got a couple up there. I don't get anything from them. I do not do referral fees and anything like that from any vendor. They know that. I don't do that game. So, but they are all up there for y'all to make things a little easier for you to start your search, especially if you don't know where to go or who to go to. It's a great place to start. All right. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me anytime, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.